Hey Marth, we're back.
Hello.
And George is on the pod.
George is here, yeah, if you hear any little snorts.
I don't know if he's on camera. It might be, but
well, yeah.
just on your lap. Right. So we're talking about marketing red flags today.
Yes.
I love the red flag conversation.
Do you?
Not about marketing.
Oh, just in general.
Yeah.
Have you heard about beige flags?
Is this like where it's... I'm assuming it means boring.
Yeah, well, yeah. Or like, it's like a flag, but it's not like a red flag, but it's still...
I keep getting served those TikToks of like outrageously awkward red flags. Like, not awkward, like outrageously... I don't know, how do you explain it? When someone's like got red flags that are just ridiculous, like they're never going to find anyone. So like they hate it when their significant other accidentally puts their t-shirt on inside out. And that'll be it.
Yeah. Or like not allowed a phone. Or to go out in a skirt that's too short.
Yeah, or like uses the upside down smiley emoji. That's it.
That's more of an ick, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, we should get into this before we get into the math. So what's the difference between an ick and a red flag?
Well, an ick is like someone running after the bus.
You're right as well. Icks was what it was. It wasn't red flags.
No. Because icks can be something that's so random, like chasing after a table tennis ball.
What's your biggest ick? It's difficult when you've got a partner because you don't like these things don't cross your mind as much.
Yeah, I did say to Josie the other day though that gave me the ick when you did that. I can't remember what it was.
Because I find myself like, for example, talking to George in a silly voice sometimes, and then I'm like, if anyone but Hannah heard me talking like this, they would like have me committed.
I did it earlier, and everybody kind of looked at me, and I was like,
yeah, I was like, I am not the world's sexiest man right now as I talk in a high pitched voice.
That's the only way you speak to him though.
Yeah, that's the language you understand.
Have you? I saw a TikTok the other day about. Have we spoke about this before about Spanish dogs speaking Spanish, and like English dogs? Well, like you know what I mean? Like they know Spanish because they know what like sit is or whatever.
Yeah.
And you think they have like a Spanish accent in their head?
Cows do, don't they? Do you know about that?
No.
Cows have regional accents.
Like regional moos.
Yeah,
well,
they vary. So it'd be if you had the same breed of cow in Scotland and the same breed of cow in Shropshire, they'd have different moos.
Oh, and what do you perceive those moos?
Well, a Shropshire cow goes, "Ow, moo, mon." I'm pleased with that. Too pleased.
Yeah, I couldn't come back quick enough with like a Glaswegian moo.
I didn't even set you up. That's off the cuff. That's the level of comedy you get on this podcast. So, icks are like when something makes you go, ugh. And then
like
a red flag would be like, must be a paedophile.
Yeah.
It's an extreme red flag, but...
Yeah, like girlfriend is 10 years younger.
I'm trying to think of like red flags I've had and ignored. Probably the biggest red flag I've had, and bearing in mind that my wife sometimes listens to this podcast and it wasn't her, but pre-Hannah, I think third date I went round to a woman's house and she was going through a divorce and the man that she was having an affair with that caused the divorce came round and threatened to kill me. That's definitely a red flag.
Yeah, what? So not the husband?
No, not the husband. The husband was pretty sound.
Still friends now?
We're mates. Neither of us like a... No.
See, I used to have like a saviour complex, so I'd be like, but I can change them. Which is like lucky that I didn't end up in a terrible situation.
Yeah, you meet this. I don't mean this in a sexist way, but I don't know how to say it, but you do meet a lot of women who think they can like change or fix.
Yeah.
Dickheads.
Yeah. I think it's fix a lot. Like, oh, he wouldn't do that to me, or I can help him get through that. I always used to think like when my idiot mates had girlfriends, like I'd be like, why does anyone like you? You're an absolute fucking moron. What side of you are they seeing?
Yeah, and I think it was like they had like an urge to like fix them. I say they. I mean, I'm sure men get this as well. I definitely have been with people I shouldn't say that, and there's plenty of red flags.
Yeah, but when you look back, what's that called?
Hindsight
is a wonderful...
Yeah, you get hindsight's 20/20 vision. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, yeah. So I guess like we'll get on to marketing red flags because that is kind of the point of this podcast, but such a fun topic. There's business red flags too.
Yeah, I was going to say that I'm sure that they're like when somebody says, oh, I'll pay that invoice next week.
Oh, I've got one at the moment. Well, I've got fucking loads. But we've got one that could come in as a client. And he asked if like I could like make the payment plan more favourable to him. So, like, rather than doing 50-50 split, he wanted 25, 25, 25, 25, let's say. But then said, I can't start yet because I'm just waiting on some cash flow issues at our end. I'm like, so you've asked me to extend the sort of credit, essentially, and then warned me that you can't start because you've got money issues. Like, if anything, I should make the credit stricter. You've got to pay 100% up front. And it just made me chuckle that someone's logic works that way. And that's a big red flag. The red flag that used to get me, and it was always at like breakfast networking, like Bacon Sandwich Brigade, was the person that showed up and banged on about how busy they were.
But that's the standard answer, isn't it? How's business? Busy.
Fuck off. Like, I don't care. Like, if I ask someone how they are, I quite like... I don't want their life story, don't get me wrong, but I quite like a bit of insight. Like, oh yeah, things have really picked up this January. Like, December was a bit slow because someone left the business and then we lost a couple of clients. But thanks for asking. Like, just like a real answer.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, actually, my wife's just got a new job and I'm having to work from home to look after the kids, so it's making balancing the business quite tricky. Oh, right. Like... Not, yeah, busy. I'm so fucking busy, it hurts. Like, I'm busy here, I'm busy there. I'm busy telling people I'm busy. Oh, it's definitely ego,
like,
especially
I don't
men.
want people to think my business
This is going to be the most sexist podcast ever. It's definitely... Blokes are fucking terrible for this. I'm so busy, it fucking hurts. Like,
do you think the ratio of male business owners, well, it obviously is still a lot higher, and do you think that's why that is our reference point? Because of, like, just of the...
Weirdly, no, because, like, we're, like, somehow massively entrenched in the coaching world. And there's we meet a lot of female business owners now. Female business owners, as I see it, rarely talk about how busy they are. Not as a boast. Sometimes as a, like, I'm close to burnout. And this is such broad brush sexist nonsense, really. But I'm targeting men, so leave off. I don't meet many women that wear busyness as a badge of honour. And I do meet women that wear efficiency as a badge of honour.
Yeah.
I find that quite interesting.
I agree.
And maybe, like, on a super sexist level, maybe it's because they're used to spinning lots of plates. Not that we have, like...
I guess historically with
yeah.
Man goes to work, women...
Well, and just, like... And I don't believe in gender roles, not for one moment. But like, there are like when you have a baby, a woman has a lot to do.
What did you say the other day? Like, I can't breastfeed you, kind of way.
Yeah, that's kind of the point, though, right? Like, obviously, a lady can express, and then a man can feed the baby, or a female partner can feed the baby, or whatever. But they still have to fucking express. They're like juggling a lot of plates, and like, a lot of the men you meet, particularly in business, are just not wired that way. They're like bull in a china shop, not thinking about efficiency, just thinking about getting shit done. And the best way to get shit done is to act busy. And it's not true, actually, if you take a step back and look at things logically and break things down. So, I guess one of my red flags is blokes that tell me how busy they are.
That's so niche.
It's not in business. It's just fucking irritating.
I think part of that is as well, though, people, like, if you're wanting to make a good impression, like, say there's a potential client in the room, you don't want to say, not busy at all.
Yeah.
It's that balance, isn't it?
But boastful business owners is another red flag for me. Like, I like telling success stories if it helps someone else in the room or helps us grow our business, because that's important for me to support the development of the business. But I never understand the people that unsolicitedly start boasting about their business. It's odd. Or, like, here's another red flag. This is a great podcast. Just for me, it's like therapy. If you're at a conference or a Q&A or a mastermind and someone puts their hand up to ask a question...
That's an ick.
Well, there's a bit of that. No, this is a red flag. So, definitely red flag. And the question is, there is a question coming, but they use the first 90% of everything they say to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
So they end up pitching their business in front of all the other people there. Hi, I'm Joel, and I'm from CoBreak, and we're brilliant at helping businesses scale past 7 figures and beyond. And what's your favourite colour? Fuck off!
And will you come on my podcast?
Oh, yeah, will you come on my podcast, yeah. Like, what's that? That's, like, I couldn't work with those people.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody just switches off, and the person who's answering the question is like, fuck's sake.
And I've got an ick, business ick. Paul taught me this, my coach. People that send voice notes over a minute.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
I've got clients that are listening to this now that are thinking, fucking hell, Joel, I send you voice notes over a minute all the time. And I literally reply now. One today sent me a 4-minute voice note. And I replied, have you thought about starting a podcast?
I literally say in my voice notes, I know you're not wanting to listen to a podcast. But, like, sometimes there's a lot of explaining to do. Like, when it's something technical.
I think if it's over a minute, it's a loom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It needs a face.
Yeah.
I don't like it when people leave me answer phone messages. It better be a fucking emergency.
Have you seen that on iMessage now, it will transcribe it for you? Like, as you send the voice memo, I think they call it. But it sends the transcript.
I mean, it's 2025. Who's using iMessage?
Me? You don't send voice messages on iMessage?
No.
Well, you should, because you'd get a transcript.
Well, who else has got iMessage? My wife's got fucking Android.
Does she?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody with an Android apart from Hannah, apparently.
WhatsApp. People are not on WhatsApp anymore.
Well, I don't know. I'm just stating that.
No one's using iMessage, Martha. You've made that up.
And voicemail as well. Apple now transcribe the voicemail.
Well, that's not happening on my phone.
Is it not?
No.
Oh. Sad times.
I need to look into this. Get something right.
So, marketing.
No, I want to know your red flags.
In business?
Or anything.
I don't love... I don't know whether this is like a...
It's people with first name for a surname, isn't it?
I love people with a first name for a surname. Or surname for a first name. Like, if your name's like Scott Owen.
If your name's Martha Dale.
But wow, yeah.
Dale is definitely a first name.
Dale.
I can't believe you took that long to catch on to what I was doing to you there. I have to explain my joke.
And that's the red flag.
My red flag is when Martha gets a joke, something's wrong.
Hey. Mine is like I hate when people like use words I don't understand. I don't know whether that's like a
fuck
ego
right
thing.
off. You're learning weird words all the time.
Yeah, because I just think that's interesting. Like flibbertigibbet is an actual word in the English language. Do you know what it means?
No.
It means like somebody who's wish-washy, like
Not me.
flaky.
Not me.
Maybe a bit me.
What's the opposite? What's the opposite of flibbery gibber?
Flibbertigibbet. I guess it would be like somebody who you can rely on. Reliable?
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
So, marketing red flags. Lost my notes.
How do you because I always go to hug people, but I feel like that might be a red flag.
So I struggle with this. Partly because I never know who I want to hug and who I don't want to hug. And it also depends on how much charge I've got in my social battery. Because I'm like, you've literally seen me in the wild, but I can be the life and soul of the party. I can also be the guy crying in the corner. And the guy crying in the corner doesn't want hugs. So
I feel like he needs a hug, though.
Yeah, just needs a shoulder to cry on, yeah.
Because I hate that awkward, like, ugh.
So
I'm straight in.
Just to be professional and not make assumptions. If it's a woman, I always say you a hugger or a handshake. Because I don't want to assume. I don't want anyone to ever feel like they have to hug me.
I'm fine with people feeling like they have to hug me.
This feels sexist as well. What the hell's wrong with this? This episode's not going to clip well. If it's blokes, I just make them hug me now. I'm like, especially like I seem to be in a few circles at the moment where there's some like ultra macho like.
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, I've just got a new client who looks insanely jacked.
So I'm like, right, you've got to hug me.
It looks like he'd be painful to hug him though.
Like rolling down a washboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I quite like it when we've got like a tradesman or something who's like dad was a tradesman and granddad was a tradesman, never got hugged as a kid, and I give them a long, lingering hug. I'm like, feel like you needed that.
What's that rule about, like, you wait for them to pull away?
Yeah. Although the guy I'm thinking of, he'd play along. We'd just be stuck there.
Forever.
Yeah.
No, you break it up. Yeah. No, you hang up.
And like, I do think we've got a bit of a bromance now, so we'd probably just be stuck together forever. Right. We're 15 minutes in, Marv. We've not talked about a single marketing red flag.
Do you know where the inspiration for this came from?
No.
Somebody sent us a report from another agency and said, I feel like this is a load of bullshit. Like,
oh, are we the baddies?
Can you help me?
I used to fucking hate it when other agencies used to audit my work.
Yeah, but we just don't, like, yes, when, like, somebody sends an email.
Unsolicited, but this was solicited.
I've just audited your website. Fuck off. I haven't asked for it. But, like, that is, I think, is a huge red flag. And I don't know if it's bad, like, they just don't know what they're doing, or they're bad people. But it's marketing agencies, marketing people.
Who lie on their reports.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Or leave bits out.
Yeah. Or put conversion values on a report that's nothing to do with sales, but haven't explained that they're just trying to weight the Google ads, which I'm not going to bore people to death with what that means, but you can't tell a client that they've had £3 million worth of sales in the last quarter from their Google ads if they haven't had £3 million worth of sales in the lifetime of their business.
And how would you think they wouldn't be like, what? Well, where is this money?
Yeah, don't put it on the report.
I had actually a conversation with Jack about how ROI is difficult because it's like not as linear as you think. Because
did you ask him if he's ever been up a hill?
No.
Has he ever fetched a pail of water?
I thought you meant he had like some mad fear of the Wrekin.
Does he know anyone called Jill? I've got one on me today, can you tell?
Yeah, it's not as linear as that. Like, even with the best tracking, it's like, is it 7-day attribution? Is it like, it's tricky. Like, it's not as like black and white. And I guess it's recent, the whole, this ad generated this much because of...
What's the phrase? Lies, lies and statistics or something. And it's like, you can make data say anything. So report, like we do report, but we also send a loom explaining the report because... I think, like, in our game, there's just so many agencies that are, like, spinning the numbers to make a positive out of a negative. And I just would rather say to clients, you didn't have as many leads this month. It dropped off. It's August. Or there's uncertainty in the markets. Or you didn't run your webinar this month, and so you haven't had as many conversions. Like,
or like with some clients... People aren't searching
for that.
For that.
Yeah.
You need to reach out to them with the meta ads, but nobody is Googling how to wax my feet.
I am Googling that.
Are you? I was trying to think. On my feet. Yeah, that's where I was going with that. I have seen some hairy toes in my time.
Fucking hell.
Okay, selling the dream. Rat's a red flag. Do you agree?
Just had this on a call. Just been on a sales call, and the lady was aware of the person that taught me a lot of sales stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, well, don't worry, I'm not going to use any of that shit on you. And she laughed. And it's that whole, like, there's little things when you oversell that really bug me. And like a really obvious one that everyone sees all the time online would be like, join my course for $997, worth 15 grand. Well, who's decided that's worth 15 grand? Where have you plucked that number from? Like, demonstrate to me where you've ever sold that for 15 grand. And if you can, I'll write you an apology. So there's that kind of oversell. Then there's like the whole, like, not letting somebody out of a sales scenario till they've bought. And I think that they always end up being your worst clients because they're like full of remorse.
Or they couldn't quite afford it, which is why they were so on the fence.
Yeah, like never do someone a deal for the sake of doing them a deal because they'll be a shit client. If it's like, I'm willing to sign up for 12 months, of course do them a deal. If it's, I'm bringing 2 businesses in at once, do them a deal. If it's their 10th visit to your car wash, do them a deal. If it's, can you sharpen your pencil? Fuck off. No, I know my worth and I'm not doing you a deal. Because all that will happen is you'll be asked to justify what you've charged for the rest of that relationship. And the red flag should be that, like, if you feel yourself having to adjust what you know is right and oversell, either through a deal or by inflating the possible result, you're setting yourself up for a hide into nothing.
It's also a positioning piece, right? If you knock off however much £1,000, they're like, well, he was overcharging me £1,000 before. Where's this come from? Because it's obviously not.
Yeah. Loyalty bonus, obviously, a bit different. Like, clients that stick with us, they don't pay what new clients pay, because I think it's like grandfather in their pricing, until it's not
viable.
Feasible, yeah. Which is kind of like the opposite of what Sky do. So Sky do it the other way. So you get a special deal if you're new. It drives me balmy.
Yeah, but then it's the effort of switching over.
Yeah, well, I said that to Hannah recently because the annual Sky debate came up. And it's like, but I love football.
Is that, yeah, if you watch live sports, you're kind of...
Oh, I just love football. And then she likes the movie channels and we like the documentaries. And so then we've got the internet with them. And so it starts to, like, make a bit more sense. But every time, every year or 2 years, whatever it is, when the renewal comes through and it costs more for us to renew than it would to leave and come back again, that bothers me.
And you see all the ads.
Yeah, like I'm not in through a sense of like a great trusting relationship. I'm in because I'm trapped, and that's gross.
Yeah. Because you need, well, I guess you don't need it.
You don't need it.
It's like that saying, like, if you can make a product that is essential as a toothbrush.
They got me this year big time, right? It's not essential, definitely not essential. But they promised that there would be at least 20 Shrewsbury games on Sky through this season.
Who promised that? Sky or Shrewsbury?
Yeah, they've done this thing with EFL clubs where it's like you can go on the red button essentially and watch whatever game you want as long as it's not a 3 o'clock kickoff. And that added so much value for me because that's the level of football I want to watch. Like, judge me if you will. Whereas, like, previously, all the games would be at Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Arsenal. And it's funny because I didn't tell Hannah this is what had happened. She's like, Shrewsbury on telly a lot at the moment.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, it's weird that.
I'd be with that. I'd be with her. I'd be like, oh.
I've got a bit of a pass-see if it's Shrewsbury on telly because they're never on telly. And no, they're always on telly. And she's like...
Are you ever on telly?
At the games? No, because the camera position's behind me. Oh. So the camera's on my side.
Yeah.
But that means I've got the best view.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Other marketing red flags. I would say when you approach an agency and they promise you results without asking you any questions.
About figures.
Either your figures or like past data.
Because a good agency would turn you down if they're never going to be able to, like, if your numbers aren't viable with their fee and ad spend and you haven't got much margin in it and you're not selling a lot of them, then they should say no.
I'd literally just said on a sales call to someone, how much do you make for every course that you sell? So what do you mean? So what are your business overheads? If you sell 100 courses, divide the business overheads by 100, and we'll, like, rough maths, we'll have a margin. Oh, I don't know. Well, how can we do ads?
It blows my mind.
What's profitable?
Yeah. How are you even pricing?
Yeah, like, and this was like currently charging 1,600 quid, planned to charge 2,980 quid. Well, that's double. Like, have you ever sold for that price before? No. Oh, right. Fucking great. Looking forward to this.
We've had this recently with a client, haven't we, doubling their prices and then being surprised when...
Well, yeah, but then in Pando, they're actually doing all right. So, but yes, exactly that. Double your prices, expect. It's not about... It's not about that your product's not worth that, because it could well be. It's about convincing everyone else. Yeah. And you've never had to convince them at that level before. And it's a different thing. It would be like... selling a Dacia, and then
what?
Dacia, Dacia, the car, Dacia.
Okay.
They're like budget cars. They don't even come with radios.
Oh, okay. Like an in-betweener type.
They're actually nice now, but when they broke into a bit like Skoda years ago, broke into the market with cheap budget cars, or Kia did it and other brands. But it'd be like selling a Dacia, and then decided actually I'm only going to sell Mercedes, but I've only got the skill set of when I sold Dacia. So like you do all the adverts like Dacia, and you put in like deal stickers on and. Just it's a completely different mindset, marketing game, setup.
Everything.
Like you might need a wait list. There's so much.
You probably aren't going to put your prices on the front end because you can't handle any objections.
Yeah. You've never. Yeah, exactly. It's like you don't know the nuances between handling a price objection and handling a value objection. Because now you've got to justify the value because you're charging in the thousands, and actually you'll encounter less price objections because you should have geared people up for that, but you will encounter more value objections. There's all sorts goes on. And
like I had the other day when I went to buy something, I was like, it's too cheap, it's going to be crap. Like there is the flip side of perceived value.
I get really nervous. I never used to. So when I had no money, it used to be like, what's the cheapest I can get it for? Then I had a little bit of money and it was like, what's the cheapest I can get it for where it'll still be good? And now I've got like, not a lot of money, but some money. It's like, which one can I get that will last me the longest? And it's like, it's a really interesting change because if you're thinking about it from the other way, your customers, how are they perceiving you in the marketplace? Are you the budget option? Are you the mid-range option? Are you the premium option? Are you the luxury option?
Longevity.
So like luxury doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. It's just the most luxurious. So like there is chocolate that is technically the best chocolate, like high density of cocoa, like organically sourced ingredients. And then there is luxury chocolate, and that's not the same thing. But they can be the same thing. And like there's so much nuance to that. And if you approach an agency, and like this is a red flag, a marketing red flag, agency, freelancer, like staff member, if their tactics are the same for whatever thing you're doing, so whether it's launching a budget product or a premium product, you should run a mile.
Yeah.
Because they should be taught. Like I had a conversation with Ethan, one of the new guys in the team, first shout out on the podcast. Doesn't listen, so waste of time.
Does he not edit?
I just caught them both out. They'd never heard the coffee advert. Sorry, Paul. So, but like I was saying to Ethan about space in the margins when you're designing things, like giving it room to breathe, and he didn't know what I was talking about. And then I thought of how to explain it since, but like a Mercedes advert has very little on the advert because everything's got room to breathe. It's luxury. It can afford the space.
Sometimes you don't even see the car for ages.
Yeah, like a watch advert as well. They can afford a lot of space. And the psychology is room to breathe, airy, luxury, can afford the space. A car warehouse will litter it with listings. It'll be packed. But also I said to him, if you go to like a nice restaurant and they've laid the table, how do they lay the table? I didn't say this to him. This is what I should have said to him. They don't lay the knives and forks right on the edge of the table and the table mat right on the edge of the table. They put it into the table because space... they can afford the space. You're not sat in the restaurant with your elbows bumping into people behind you. There's room. There's room to move. When you get up to go to the toilet, you don't worry about banging into the person behind you. And that's the same logic with design. It's like, can we afford the room to breathe? And there will be ads that like stop the scroll, but positionally give the impression of a budget product. And like we have to dance this dance quite a lot where it'll be like, we want to stop the scroll, we want to get attention, but in this instance this needs to look fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't look cool, people are going to assume it's cheap, and if they assume it's cheap, we're going to get loads of price objections on the other side, and the client's going to tell us the leads are crap.
Yeah.
And that is like the game we play. And I guess like another big marketing red flag is when the agency talks loads about vanity metrics.
Reach, impressions, likes, even clicks. It depends what your goal is. But
I explained to someone today that clicks is a really good metric for monitoring the effectiveness of an ad. And she was like, well, why? And I was like, because if the click-through rate and the cost per click is where it should be, normally everything else falls into place. Would the client know that? No. But it is an important metric. But when an agency is like spouting this stuff, but you've reached thousands of people, so many more people know about you now. Well, the till hasn't rang.
And probably not after one ad. Like, what's the frequency? How often are these people seeing the ad?
How clear is it your brand in the ad?
Because my recall lift on almost anything, to be honest. I like even some of my favourite foods. I'll be like, what's it called? What's the brand? Who's
Flump.
that by?
Flump.
But who's it by? Barrett's.
Yeah, Barrett's Flumps.
Who do wine gums?
Maybe. They definitely do licorice all sorts. No, that's Bassett's.
See?
Oh, shit.
That is my point.
I think they do those fruit ones. What are they called?
Fruit gums.
No, they're in a wrapper, orange and yellow wrapper. Blackjacks they do, and then fruit.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Those things.
Yeah, I look because they come together. Sometimes you can get a mixed pack, can't you?
Yeah, that's Barrett's, isn't
it?
Yeah.
They're good.
If you're listening, Barrett's.
Yeah, sponsor me because
Martha's bought more flumps than anyone else in the UK this year.
I'm single-handedly, and they keep disappearing from places like my local Tesco. They're gone.
Well, I know where I can get them wholesale, Marth, because I bought you 2 boxes.
Yeah, I know, but it's such an addiction now. I was doing 2 a day.
You're the Flumpasaurus.
Yeah. Just flump me.
Flump me. Wow. Marth, you shouldn't be on the spot today because you've been warned about this moment. But what are your big takeaways from this pod?
Mine would be, if anyone you approach to do marketing, or really anything, know your numbers. Know your numbers yourself. So when you're asking the questions, or when they're asking you questions, if they're good, you've got the answer. Also, you can work it out. Okay, well, their fees are this. They want me to spend this on ads. This isn't viable. Who at what point is going to tell me?
If they're not talking to you about viability, fuck them off.
Exactly.
Do you know my big takeaway? Because that would have been a great spot to end, but this is better.
What's your takeaway? Tell me.
If you're dating someone and the bloke they're having an affair with threatens to kill you, don't date them anymore.